Good evening. On the issue of the prosecution of the Ashoka University professor for his remarks regarding Operation Sindoor, I, as a free speech absolutist, condemn it obviously, but I'm amused nonetheless by the fact that all those journalists, activists, lawyers, fact-checkers, stand-ups, and other riff-raff, chauthi fails outraging at his prosecution according to Indian law, were clamoring for the prosecution of Nupur Sharma for merely quoting the Islamic scriptures. They were clamoring for the prosecution of all those YouTubers in Tamil Nadu who conducted interviews not liked by Stalin. All those people, including professors, who forwarded cartoons not liked by Mamata. All those journalists reporting on stories not liked by Kejriwal. All those activists who were arrested for their Facebook posts not liked by Pawar. In fact, even Professor Mahmudabad, who is being prosecuted, wanted Nupur to be prosecuted. So let's get this straight. You don't stand against unjust and draconian laws that stifle free speech. You stand against their application to your friends and ideological bedfellows. You don't stand against stifling of free speech. You stand against stifling of free speech when the free speech is of your friends. You are shameless hypocrites. Take the recent case of Kunal Kamra. Even though Kamra celebrated and egged the state on to go after his ideological opponents for their free speech, I condemn the state going after him. Because in arresting him, all what the state would be doing is to become another Kunal Kamra. The state is better than that. Democracy should always be better than its delinquents. Look, as a free speech absolutist, I am fundamentally against the state stifling free speech through force, coercion, threat, or by quoting the constitution. Of course, free speech absolutism comes with a few commonsensical exceptions. In the name of free speech, for example, you can't divulge state secrets. You can't scream fire in a crowded theatre. You can't incite and lead a mob to violence. You can't defame someone's reputation with false details because that's where defamation suit comes in. All else is kosher. The reality is we don't have a constitution that respects dissent. We have laws and articles and amendments that, rather than protect the rights of the dissenter, protect those who violate his rights. Everything is grey, everything is subject to something, everything is primed for offending someone's religious or other sensibilities. If I'm not in jail right now, it is because the state has decided I need not be jailed. Truth be told, the hate that someone have towards free speech absolutists like me is like the hate believers have towards Darwinian atheists. I'm used to it by now. There is even a psychiatric term for it, guilt of inadequacy. They feel embarrassed at being irrational and therefore inadequate. Believing, for example, in flying horses and immaculate conception when science tells you that's impossible. And because they fear being exposed as hypocrites, they label free speech as a utopian concept. Opponents of free speech are believers in the grey because that lets them wallow in their hypocrisy. Worse, they inadvertently support Nehru for curbing free speech through the First Amendment. They love it when they condemn someone for offending a particular religious sensibility but hate it when one of their own or they themselves are condemned for offending someone else's religious sensibilities. A free speech absolutist never condemns anyone for being hateful or for offending religious or other sensibilities for the simple reason that who decides what is offensive? Who decides what is sensible? What is hate? How can freedom be subject to anything? Look, true test of liberal democracy is standing up for illiberal marauders of common sense. Those who are landfill of lies, mediocrity, propaganda, terror apologia, Hindu phobia, slander, anarchy and all other attributes that make them gush methane from time to time. Doing the right thing means never caring whether the victim is worthy or worthless, friend or foe. So don't be a shameless hypocrite. If you, like me, condemn the prosecution of Mahmudabad, then have the courage to apologize for clamoring for the prosecution of Nupur. Hai dam!